I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all the why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Bowie, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
Welcome back to another episode of Quick Question. The theme song is fading out. This is the show where we solve pop culture mysteries. I am one of your pop culture detectives, Daniel O'Brien, joined as always by Soren Bowie. Soren, say hello.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing great, Soren. I have something for you.
Oh,
because
right off the bat, you should do. Is it an improv game?
No, it's a pop culture mystery. We're never doing the improv game thing again. It's listeners. I take pop culture mysteries very seriously on this show. We all know this about me. And Soren came to me with a mystery a couple days ago. He texted me in the middle of the night, shivering, asking me if I had seen the movie Opus, which I had not at the time, starring Io Debris and John Malkovich, came out within the last 12 months. And Soren texted me and he said, it's about an aging rocker who makes a record after 30 years of seclusion, but the songs are good, like stuff I would listen to. And if you try to figure out who actually made them, they credited the pop star in the movie, a fictional person. And I thought this is a rich pop culture mystery. And I told my wife to get a hotel for a couple of days. I put a huge pot of coffee on, like an air pot of coffee, like the kind that they have at the movie theater, like a giant, like 2 foot tall office style thing of coffee. I was like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to solve this mystery. And Soren, I solved it within, I want to say 90 seconds of starting the movie.
Oh,
the answer was in the credits. The opening credits.
Oh, shit. Thanks to Shopify for supporting Quick Question. Shopify is a platform designed for anyone to sell anywhere, giving entrepreneurs like myself the resources once reserved for big business. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/QQ.
I turned it on with like my notepad out, ready to fucking go crazy on this and look for clues. And they were like, additional music by Nile Rodgers and The Dream, who are two of the most famous and successful music producers in the history of time. Like The Dream has done all of Beyonce's albums since Sasha Fierce, and Nile Rodgers co-founded Chic. He's ranked as one of the 7th greatest guitar players of all time. He did the song Good Times, which was sampled in Rapper's Delight and many other things.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a pop culture mystery song.
I'm like, all right. This is particularly humiliating for me because I work in the industry, and that I pay no attention to the credits is like a real disservice to my colleagues, to the people I would work with.
I'm not going to pretend that I knew who Nile Rodgers was by name, and that's like a shame of mine. But as I'm watching the movie and looking at the credits, the opening credits, like nothing has happened yet, and it says additional material by Nile Rodgers and The Dream. I thought, like, that is there a chance that John Malkovich's character is named Nile Rodgers and they're front loading this mystery? No, absolutely not. They're the professional, successful music producers.
Well, I still have some questions here. One is why are we still crediting these to Moretti?
It is a good question. Where did you see that it was credited to Moretti? Where
on Spotify?
Before I guess I should have I said too much too soon about my methodology for solving this mystery.
Well, you want to go to
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I watched the movie, and the first song that comes up is this one called Dina Simone. And I was like, I couldn't tell if I was being tricked, because everyone in the movie is singing along to the song. It's a montage of a bunch of people really loving this music. And so it's people at karaoke, it's people in their car. Everyone is grooving to this song. And I was like, I think I'm grooving to this song. I think I like this song. The next song that appears is this like really sweet ballad that the people who are invited to listen to this album together in the desert, they're all listening to it alone in their rooms and like listening. And so the film does a good job of getting you in the mood for a particular song. And then listening to that one, I was like, I think objectively, I really like this song. I think this is a good song. There's another one later that John Malkovich sings live to them. I don't think is as good. It's a very weird scene, but I think it's supposed to be. Anyway, he's supposed to be sort of a David Bowie type of figure. And so there's like a lot.
Nile Rodgers co-wrote and produced "Let's Dance" by David Bowie.
So it's this pop star who has like an array of music that he is good at, and he's come back after 30 years to do an album. And so obviously it's supposed to be the very best music. It's supposed to be his opus. So that's such a tall order for a film.
Yes,
because you have the songs. You're gonna have to play at least 3. They're gonna have to be good enough that you're like, oh shit, like that he did it. He really was successful. And on top of that, you have to convince the audience that like I believe this guy is a pop star. That John Malkovich is a pop star. That you could listen to. That John Malkovich could have just pivoted on his career trajectory and been like, you know what? Instead, I'm just gonna be this vocal phenom, and do this instead. And those are all so hard to do. It's hard enough to do. You do stand-up in a movie, and it's like, oh, well, we're just going to have to buy that this is good stand-up because it's clearly not.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been good stand-up in a show or a movie. Maybe Hacks? I don't know.
Hacks.
But, like, yeah, like, other than that, you like Marvelous Miss Maisel, it's, get out of here.
Yeah.
But to do something, do a completely different art form that stands on its own within a movie and make it good enough that it could stand on its own is next to impossible, unless I'm gonna walk that back a little bit for musicals and for maybe some Pixar films.
Yeah,
like those you could listen to those songs on your own and be like, oh, that they spent just as much time on each individual song as everybody else did on the entire movie.
Right. I mean, we've talked about this on the show before, where we were trying to figure out who is the most believably good at their pop culture job in a movie. We were talking about like when a movie tells us this band is great, or this actor is great, or this artist is great, and then the movie does the very tall order of showing you the art that they make, and we need to, and it's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be sincerely good. It is, you're right, a really tall order, and I think they accomplish it with like. The reason that thing you do works so well and you buy this as a pop tune is that it was written by the late Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne, who was just like absurdly good at writing catchy, timeless pop tunes. And probably that goes for the producing team behind Opus as well, where the people behind the movie were like, this guy needs to be, the songs need to be like believably as good as what we imagine late era David Bowie would be doing right now.
Yeah.
And so let's hire the guy who worked with David Bowie and Beyonce.
That makes a lot of sense.
Do this. Yeah.
So anyway, I looked it up. I think it was on Spotify. No, first I looked it up on the internet because I was like, well, let's just find these songs. And I found it on YouTube. It's just clips of it. And it was always like credited. Some of it had lyrics and it was credited to Moretti. And I was like, well, fuck you. And then I was like, well, let's go to the comments. And people were like, love Moretti. I'm like, what is going on? And then went to Spotify, and Spotify had credited it as Moretti. I then found another version that did say Moretti and then followed by Dream, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because that's who made it. And he's a real person.
Then credit to John Malkovich's fictional character did not make these songs. What is this Bubba Gump Shrimp Company bullshit?
I know. It's very confusing. It did make me. I mean, it's very funny that you mentioned Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, because I have been thinking recently, like, who is the funniest fictional character to convince someone in your life is real just for them to accidentally slip up at a party. I think Forrest Gump is
that's great.
a pretty good one. If you can convince someone that like, no, yeah, it's crazy. Like the real guy didn't look like that, and it's weird that we don't have more pictures of him. But yeah, that's they exaggerated a couple of things, but as far as like everything else, Forrest Gump is real. Just so that person can one day be at a party and drop a fun fact about Forrest Gump. I won't even be there to watch them be humiliated.
You're just taking the pin out of a grenade and handing it to them. I mean, like at some point they had to put that down.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, starting your own business is scary. It's a really scary prospect because it's entirely impossible to just chunk it out, to not envision where it's going to be and how big you want it to be and where you want it to go. You have to go through these little tiny baby steps to get there. And it's like walking across a desert in baby steps. It's lonely. It's scary. Your best work is at night for some reason. Well, Shopify thinks you don't have to do it that way. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel, Gymshark, to brands just getting started. And you can get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. You don't have a marketing team behind you? So what? Shopify can help. They can get the word out like you have a marketing team of 50 people. It's easy to create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready to Shopify. The thing I love about Shopify is that no matter how big you want your business to be, they can help you. And I'm not saying, hey, go big or go home. Shopify can make it as big as you want. I'm saying they can also make it as small as you want. Not everybody has these big ambitions of going public in 3 years. I want my business to be small. I don't need it to grow big. I'm perfectly content harvesting and maintaining my own little beautiful nurtured baby. That's a weird thing to call your business, but Shopify can help you do that. So turn your business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/QQ. Go to shopify.com/QQ. Shopify.com/QQ. Forrest Gump's a really funny one. Forrest Gump is like, when was the last time you watched that movie?
Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I love Forrest Gump.
That's actually pretty close. Okay, so I rewatched it again recently too, and I was like, again, thinking, I like a lot of this. I like the Nom stuff. I like so much of it. And some like really, there's some very small jokes in it. And then there's this one where I'm like, what the fuck is this doing in this movie? It's not registering for you yet. It's when he's on his runs across the country, one of his multiple runs across the country. And the guy's like, I got all these yellow t-shirts and I don't know what to put on them. And so Forrest Gump is like, he's like, oh man, you just stepped in some shit. And Forrest Gump goes, it happens. And then he takes he gets sprayed by a truck that goes by mud. It's such a long walk. And then he takes one of the yellow shirts, like, take this shirt. Nobody buys this color anyway. And Forrest Gump wipes his bearded face on it and gives it back to the man. And there is a circle with cartoon eyes and mouth smile in the shirt. From Forrest Gump doing his face. That's even too much of a weird cartoony joke for our show. Like we wouldn't do that because it's like, well, that's silly.
You're conflating two things there, right? There's the bumper sticker salesman who's looking for a slogan.
Oh, right.
And Gump says, shit, it happens sometimes. And then shit happens, we see as a bumper sticker. And then there's the guy who sells t-shirts. He wants to put Gump's face on a t-shirt to sell them. And then he wipes his face. It's the perfect smiley face. And he says, have a nice day. And the guy is like, I'm going to sell these smiley face have a nice day shirts that we know now to be iconic.
Are we not selling shirts that have a smiley face and say shit happens on them? Is that common in pop culture? Is it possible I'm mistaken?
It is a very cartoony move, like a literal and figurative cartoony move for that movie to make. I don't know why we decide that's more cartoony than Forrest Gump surviving a storm and becoming a millionaire and meeting multiple presidents and being a war hero and running across country multiple times. For some reason, he wipes his face and it becomes a perfect smiley face and just like, no.
I can't
No.
find. My suspension of disbelief just shatters. And I'm like, what is this? Did this guy really live? I'm going to go look it up on Spotify. So one thing we are really glossing over with Opus. I do want to hear if you liked it or not. But also,
okay.
I am blown away by John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Who has the weirdest voice in all of human history of all actors, save maybe Christopher Walken. This very strange delivery on everything he does, a strange attitude, a strange voice, that when I hear him sing, I'm like, yeah, it's a singer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that sounds great. He kills it. And that I'm going to have to find the song, Remember or something.
Yeah. I think Malkovich is like singularly great in everything he has ever done. And he's one of the actors that like my whole family really likes a lot, probably because we all saw Of Mice and Men when that was like a big movie in our household because we liked that story and we loved Gary Sinise from Forrest Gump instantly. And John Malkovich was just so good in everything. And I also remember my world being rocked because you grow up liking an actor, especially when I wanted to be an actor, and like Malkovich is like a really good solid character actor who can do anything. He's a good bad guy, he's a good this, he's a good that. Reading the play Dangerous Liaisons in high school, a very horny show with like famously horny and sexy people, and then in drama class, knowing that we were going to watch the movie afterwards because that's how you fill time in school, was you read a thing and then you watch a movie of a thing, and then suddenly 2 weeks has gone by and you've learned nothing. And knowing that like this character that I've been reading was going to be played by John Malkovich with like long Fabio hair, as a 14-year-old, I was like, I think he's a really good actor. I don't think he can be.
Why are we testing his
sexy man?
What are we doing? Why are we driving this engine till it breaks? Like, why are we trying to put John Malkovich in roles where, like,
right.
Let's see if he can do it.
Just a 90s move that you probably couldn't get away with now. And like, no disrespect, everyone's beautiful all the time. But like the two hot lead adults are John Malkovich and Glenn Close. When it's like, make it, Sydney Sweeney, what are we doing here? Come on.
Make it for kids. Somebody along the way agreed with you because they were like, let's redo it as Cruel Intentions.
They did.
And
they're like, here's Ryan Felipe. And
there
here's
we go.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, that's right. That's what I read on the page. Not like sexy because he's tall and smart. Get out of here.
You guys didn't, just to clarify, you didn't as a school do Dangerous Liaisons, did you?
No.
Okay.
No, we just
didn't know what circumstances you read. Okay.
No, that would be irresponsible. We just read it, watched it.
I'm gonna write that one down. That's a really good bit for something where like the school's putting on Dangerous Liaisons and the teacher just doesn't understand why that's not inappropriate.
It's an incredibly Soren joke to make. You're very keen on high school theater teacher being so dedicated to a specific play that he puts blinders on to everything else around him. That I isolate as a very Soren thing.
Did we ever do that sketch?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Oh, is it too racist? Is that why?
I don't think it's too racist. I actually thought that was like a solid episode of a television show or movie. I don't know if you want to spoil the thing that we've been talking around here.
Yeah, but it was while we went on a trip. I think we were like filming somewhere distant, and Dan and I were staying in a hotel room, and Dan was working on something, maybe the pitch doc or something like that for Cracked. Genuine work, and I was like, maybe I'll write a sketch. Dan won't talk to me, so maybe I'll just write a sketch. So like, I sat down at a computer and I started writing the sketch about when desegregation happened in schools. It was like Alabama. It was like the first desegregated school. And the teachers are like talking about it and deciding whether or not to do it. And there's this big teachers meeting, and there's one teacher who's really advocating on behalf of it, and it's the acting teacher. And there's the theater teacher, the one who does all the plays, and it becomes clear. It takes a while, but it becomes clear throughout it that the teacher really is interested in desegregation because he's been wanting to do Othello for a very long time, and he needs a black actor. It still makes me laugh. I still like the idea.
It's very funny. It's got a lot of potential. I think it's a good vehicle.
and like he's quoting Shakespeare a lot and trying to get, because his intentions, what he's actually trying to get done is a good thing, but his reasons for it suck real bad. So like him trying,
I think like
his reasons,
the natural like comedic extension of this is the guy, like morally in his soul, opposes integration, doesn't want it. Like he is a racist man who sees a great opportunity,
right,
to boost his credibility as a high school theater director.
It's a good platform for him for his next career move in Broadway or whatever. Yeah, and like it was fun. It was fun to also create the other teachers who are like scared, and they're creating straw man slippery slopes about it, like wondering about when we're gonna start letting bears into school and stuff like that. Just the worst people you can imagine, and writing them all in a room together was very fun. But yeah, we never did that. We never got to it.
Sorry, I was busy with the pitch doc or whatever my job was. I'm sure I was going over budgets.
So that's when my wife is not available for me to just like talk to about the wasps I see and stuff like that, then I have to write, and I don't have any other choice but to like go write in my garage. Because I'm like, well, she's busy, so I guess I'll write an episode of American Dad.
Yeah, no, see, I'm never more productive on a piece of just my own writing than when I am on assignment for work to write something. Yeah. And when my wife is gone, then it's like, I can't bother wife, and I'm not going to work. I'll just write this little novel. Maybe I'll just see what's going on here.
What is this little thing ticking around in my brain? What are you doing in there, little guy? Do you want to be out on the page?
Right. And then wife comes home from bar class, and she's like, what have you been doing? I'm like, I've been writing all day, and that is technically the truth, and that's why I am sleepy, and I don't have my computer out anymore.
Oh, what did you write? I
don't want to let the steam out of the bag. No, but I mean, like, what's the topic of the show this week? I'd rather you just be surprised when you see the show.
But if you ever did want to read an essay on how nobody got the real meaning of RoboCop, I might have some thoughts somewhere. I could go dig that out somewhere. I think dust that off, let you see it. That's when I was never more prolific than when my dad was dying, and I was supposed to be working on an episode of American Dad. But during that time, I was like, I will write anything else. And so like that's when Michael approached me, and he was like, will you come host this podcast episode? That's when I wrote a short story for Michael for his podcast and stuff like that, where I was just like, I will write as long as the day is. I will do anything.
During the writer's strike, I wrote jack shit.
Yeah,
but give me a deadline and just watch those pages fly out. Pages for something unrelated.
Yep. Wait. Hold on. Before we move on, did you like Opus?
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this because after I had solved the mystery, I gave myself an ice cream treat and fell asleep.
A portion of the text that I think you left out, which was, I think I called Opus pretty good.
Yeah.
I've had time to marinate on it and marinate on the movie and wonder about certain characters that just disappear and stuff like that. And think now I'm like, I don't actually agree with myself. I don't think it was a very good movie. I think it was super weird, and I liked the agreement at the beginning of this is what you're going to get. And I thought John Malkovich was very interesting, but ultimately I don't think it was a very good movie at all. And there's a lot of good people in it.
I could see it moving in a weird direction. I, like everyone else in America, love Iowa Debris so much. She is just the greatest and funniest person on the planet, and clearly love John Malkovich and a lot of other people in that. And I could see what kind of movie it was trying to be and shaping up to be.
Yeah.
I was just not enjoyable enough moment to moment to keep me awake. And I'm sure I'll give it another shot at some point. But two songs in, and you're right, the two songs that I saw and heard were really great.
Yeah.
But we just hadn't gotten to enough like meat yet that I was
It's a slow,
hooked. Yeah.
slow burn, obviously. It has to be because you have to put somebody, it's like Get Out, where you have to keep somebody in a situation where they should be leaving and they're just not. But she's good in it. It made me really think of, as I was watching it, because, you can't just watch a movie anymore. It made me really think about how if you have a main character, you've got to give your main character some sort of selfish moral failing or some sort of flaw that is relatable. Because when your character, I watched Death of a Unicorn too, and I had the same problem with that movie. When your main character is just this is a young woman who is perfect in every single way, I'm super bored. I no longer care about what happens. She is. There's
Make young women shitty. It's 2025 for crying out loud. Give her limits.
Give her something gross like that.
That's the same as shitty.
Give her something that she's tempted by, or something. Give them something. They're just. Did you watch Death of a Unicorn?
No, I heard many bad things about it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's both these movies. I was like trying to identify because I like the cast so much of both these movies.
Yeah.
And then in thinking about it, I was like, they share a lot in common in that you have somebody who's like surrounded by wolves essentially, and they're like, they don't realize it. They don't realize it until it's too late. And then you're like, well, but this person is not even realistic to begin with. I found that very troubling. Anyway, we don't have to get into why these movies are bad.
No, I mean, I think there's a curious thing forming around Jenna Ortega where I'm not entirely sure if her agents should be trusted anymore. I think her publicist deserves $1 million raise because I see nothing but articles about how great she is, and she is very charming in interviews, and I don't think has turned in a bad performance. But I don't know what direction her career is moving in, and she has made many bad movie choices in the last 15 months. It seems she just pops up in a lot of things. Like she was in the written and directed by The Weeknd movie that came and went that I think made $1,500 or something absurd like that. Yeah. And this Death of a Unicorn movie that no one seems to like anywhere. The Wednesday show is very incredibly not my thing, but it makes people very happy, and I'm fine with it existing. But beyond that, it just seems like Jenna Ortega is this it girl who has made a bunch of bad movies, and we just need to give her the right agent or put her on the right path.
Yeah,
we don't need to. Nothing matters.
Yeah, she's doing fine, but I agree with you that she has this aura to her that I'm like, you belong in something better. You deserve better than what you're currently doing. What else is she doing? Wednesday? What?
Yeah. Did I say that? I meant to say Wednesday earlier. Did I not say Wednesday earlier?
I don't think you did.
No, that was the one that is respectfully not my thing that other people seem to enjoy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whatever I can't imagine what I called it. Well,
maybe you did. I just wasn't listening. only the viewers.
I'll find out when I read the comments next week.
Dan,
what?
I had a really startling experience the other day. Can I tell you about it?
Yeah.
I was scrolling through Facebook one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. Just like flipping the channels and get to an After Hours video. And I was like, I'll check in on old After Hours. I'll revisit this. And I'm watching it, and it's funny, and the points are good in it. And I'm like, I like this. I like this. This is a really good episode. And I was like, who wrote this one? And I went back and looked. I wrote it. And I had no memory of it whatsoever. No memory of having written it. And I'm like, well, of course you like your own fucking jokes. But like, I did not remember this one. And I don't remember because a lot of times those ideas would incubate for a while for me. I took a lot of pride in the ones that I would write because I was like, I want this to feel really good and like all the arguments to be really compelling. I want it to fit within the universe of the show where everybody, like, there's fun stuff for everybody to be doing. I don't remember any of that for this one. The trail is gone in the snow.
Yeah. It's really wild. I think I had that experience with Agents of Cracked when I was trying to think of that show, and especially the first, I think, 2 seasons, we didn't put written by bylines on episodes, sort of by design.
Yeah.
And now that is completely gone from my brain. Who did what on that show? And After Hours, I think I might have an easier time with After Hours just because I felt like I was diligent about topics. Like I wouldn't pick something that was going to be a huge lift for me to like. I would never write the James Bond one because I haven't seen enough James Bond movies and I still haven't. And I like to feel like I picked things where I felt like I had something in me already that I could bring to it. But I don't know. You could tell me right now that I did write the James Bond one.
You didn't. I wrote that one.
Oh, thank goodness.
This one is terrible lessons in coming of age stories. And at least that's what it's titled. It doesn't seem to be like that's what we focus on. We really focus on time a lot in it and like how you address aging and dying. But it's very compelling. And like we start with us sitting around looking at Katie because it's her birthday and trying to guess how old Katie is.
That's so
it's really fun.
In addition to not knowing which episodes I wrote, it's crazy how little I remember of what happened in that show.
I know.
Like, that sounds right. It sounds like we must have done an episode where it was Katie's birthday and we were doing business with that up top. But
no, it's gone.
You're going to tell me I put on clothes and had a game to play in that episode?
It's way more than that. The amount of work that goes into memorizing one of those episodes is staggering because it's like memorizing other places. Like it's like you have to have other places as a play. It's almost entirely a monologue. But it's like you have to memorize like huge swaths of monologue that are written like an essay, and it has to sound very natural.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I'm like, I spent so much time working on those episodes, granted sometimes on the day, but like freaking out on the day at least, and being like, get it in there, get it in my head, to now look back on it and be like,
gone forever.
Yeah, none of these lines even triggered a thing for me.
One thing that I would port from my current job at Last Week Tonight into our past job at Cracked is, so my boss, John, does about a 30-minute monologue once a week. And it's a lot of information. And he's got a prompter.
Yeah.
But I will say that by the time we actually tape, if the prompter skipped or broke down a little bit, I feel somewhat confident that he could not do an entire episode from memory, but like he knows it pretty well by the time we tape, that it's like, I would say 80% of the way memorized is my guess.
Wow.
When we're in rewrite a few hours before taping, we have gone through a table read for some chunk of the staff in the office, second table read in the office with some graphics happening on a screen behind him, a rehearsal in full suit in front of the studio.
You can do
it. And
it.
then we're in rewrite after that. So he's seen the script a bunch of times. He's done it a bunch of times. It's been punched up, and we're still going through the script line by line, and he's looking at it at a big screen, and like we're together making some change that are like, oh, this makes the joke punchier. This is a word we don't need. But he's also going through it and like making it easier for himself to say, not in like a dumbing down sort of way, but just like, let's get this, let's like finally tune this and finesse this language so it flows as well as it can possibly flow for me to like rapid fire deliver at this insane click. And like, man, I wish we'd been doing stuff like that when we worked on After Hours and Obsessive Pop Culture Disorder. That like we would write those things, and very often we're writing those up until the last minute and repeating ourselves in these monologues because we're delirious as we're writing it. It's just like I need to make this point clear, and I'm figuring out what the point is while I'm writing it, and so I'm repeating myself, and I'm over explaining, and I'm not going to edit it because no one edits those scripts except me, and I'm not doing it. And then we get there on the day, and it's just gotta like cram this paragraph into my fucking head, and as long as I can hold it in my stupid head for like 4 minutes, I can say it. And I'll look like a crazed person while I'm saying it because my eyes are dead while my mind and my mouth are steering the whole ship.
Yeah.
It would have just been so much easier on ourselves if we were like, now before we tape this, let's just like practice it a few times and see if we can change this language a little bit and make it cleaner and tighter. Not once did we ever think about that.
No, we didn't do it. I'll say it. The show doesn't suffer a ton from it either, because you have to keep in mind, like, it has to feel very train of thought, like in the episode. You can't give too much at one moment because it's really hard for an audience to keep up because they're learning it at the same time. The same reason like teachers, when they talk at the front of a class, talk so slow. It's because you need time to think about what you digest what you just heard. Yeah. And so we certainly give them that. There's a lot of like reiterating a point over and over again, and kind of circling around it in a way where, like, the first Ninja Turtle script I wrote, I was like, I remember stopping in the middle and Justin being like, what is the actual point here? And I'm like, it's this. And he's like, well, yeah, can you just say it like that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I could. Let me write it down.
You saying you want this idea just one time instead of 3 times? All right.
You wanted the shorthand? Is that, we're allowed to just give them the shorthand? Okay. All right. Yeah, but it was really startling to watch an entire episode of that show that we spent so much time on, so much of our life, and then to now remember that I'd written it, that it was my episode.
Speaking of the past, Soren, let's get into the show.
Oh, yeah.
I recently watched Happy Gilmore 2. Like a lot of people around the world, I watched Happy Gilmore 2 recently. It's awesome. I don't care what anyone says. I love it. A thing that's sticking in my brain, other than it's awesome, is that the movie, almost to a distracting degree, reminds you of the 1996 Happy Gilmore by including clips, like actual clips. Sometimes like a flashback, and sometimes it almost felt like a clip show. And like they were kind of cheaply trying to remind me how much I liked the first one to sort of gloss over whatever flaws this one might have. Because no one who is choosing to watch Happy Gilmore 2 needs to be reminded of anything from Happy Gilmore. We know it. No one is coming to Happy Gilmore 2 like completely fresh or blind, or it's like, oh yeah, it's been a while I've thought about Happy Gilmore. It's like, no.
It's fun to think about that kind of person who would do that.
Everyone's talking about this Happy Gilmore 2. Let's see.
All right, I'll pull the trigger. I'll go see it in theaters.
Not only did they keep showing clips of the 1996 movie, they also brought back a lot of characters from that movie. And they would show clips. They would say, do you remember Blondie, the caddy that Happy Gilmore strangled in one scene briefly. Here's that scene. We're going to show you that happening. And now here is him in the present talking to that kid and saying, hey, Blondie, I hope you're not still mad that I strangled you. And then later, Blondie strangles someone else.
So
and
they have to remind you who these characters are so minor that they have to remind you who they are by being like, remember this from the movie? Watch it for 15 seconds. Well, guess what? Here he is again, everybody.
Right. And like for characters that died or for the actors who played them that died, all of those characters have sons now. There's like the big guy who got the nail in his head, the giant that Happy used to work with. He died in real life, but he has a giant son who functionally is the same and is like, do you remember my dad? He's dead. I'm here now.
He has a chopstick in his head.
Right. This is Happy's mentor. They're like, do you remember Chubbs? He died in the movie and in real life. I am his son. And also I am missing a hand and I have it replaced with a wooden hand and I work at a mini golf course. Remember the guy who said jackass? Here are several clips of him saying jackass. He died. Here's his son also saying jackass. It's really bizarre moves. Again, I think it's just like as close to a clip show, like 5 minutes of new material and 90 minutes of clip show and hey, remember this material to remind you that you like the original movie. It's still, all of it fucking worked for me. It's here's what makes it slightly more interesting to me.
Okay.
Is the latest Mission Impossible movie also came out this year. And they also, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, they frequently and literally referenced the original Mission Impossible movie, which also came out in 1996, the same year Happy Gilmore came out. And Mission Impossible also cut to clips, like literal clips. They wouldn't just like, Ethan, remember that time? They would show like 1996 Tom Cruise and his team doing stuff, and other movies too, but mostly they were like, they really wanted you to remember how much you liked Brian De Palma's Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
And similar to Happy Gilmore, too, they brought back pretty minor characters. They had William Donnelly in the first Mission Impossible. He is an employee who has a couple of lines, maybe 2 or 3 lines, but mainly his thing is he gets poisoned and he has to puke and shit, and that allows Ethan to sneak into the fucking place to get the fucking thing, whatever the plots of these movies are. It's when Ethan has to like drop from the ceiling and go horizontal. Donnelly is the employee who gets poisoned and shits himself, and we never see him again until this movie. Until 2025. They show you a clip of him. Remember this guy? He is back here now, and we're going to give him some kind of closure and some more lines and more screen time. Also like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, do you remember Ethan Hunt's mentor, Jim Phelps, who was John Voight in the first movie? Well, he died in that movie, but now in this current Mission Impossible, his son is a character functionally doing a lot of what Jim Phelps did in the first one. And I don't have much to say about this except that it happened. I'm bringing you 2 movies that came out this year that reference an original that came out in 1996, and they both specifically would show clips from that movie and bring minor characters from that movie back into this present movie. And if they didn't bring a minor character back into the present movie, they mentioned a character from the first movie and they introduced a new character in this movie. That was their son fulfilling the same role.
Man,
what do I do?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it. So the way sequels to movies used to work was you wouldn't explicitly mention the first one, but you would follow to a T the exact same formula in the second film, to the point where an audience who doesn't even know anything about movies can anticipate what's coming. So like Home Alone's a great example. Like when Home Alone Lost in New York, you have to have a moment where Catherine O'Hara says, Kevin, and then you've got to have there's got to be some creepy person that Kevin doesn't trust and is scary, but then ends up being like the voice of reason by the end. You have to have to Robert Lee. You have to follow the exact same beats, and then you're like, that's what a sequel is. Major League did the same thing, and when you have that, then you're like, okay, I get it. We were still hungry for the same movie, but it functions essentially like an SNL sketch that was very successful, and now we're gonna do a second one. We're just gonna hit all the same stuff again because that's what you all liked the first time. Oh, you still have an appetite for it? Let's do a third. And so, I get that, but it feels like the step that's just a little lazier than that is, well, just watch the first one again. Come on, sit down with us. We'll show you some new stuff, but really just watch the first one with us again.
You liked the first one, right? That was good. Doesn't that? Can't we rest on those laurels a little bit more?
It is shocking that they were both made in 1996. I started looking through 1996 movies thinking, is it possible that other movies are like, this is the last time we had good culture? It is depressing to go through 1996 movies because there were so many original ideas.
I know.
You're like, oh shit, we really were making movies then.
I know. It's especially, and I know like Wikipedia is going to front load the major releases, but the Wikipedia page for 1996, the major releases this year included Scream, Independence Day, Fargo, Trainspotting, The Rock, The English Patient, Twister, Space Jam, Mission Impossible, Mars Attacks, Jerry Maguire. Holy shit. That's an incredible run of movies. And again, it's like, that doesn't represent the entire year because there's probably a lot of shit there too. And some people think The Rock and Mars Attacks are bad, but just the variety of movies, the different kinds of things that we were doing.
And the types of movies, I go through this and I'm like, oh, well, we don't even make that type of movie anymore. Yeah. Like A Time to Kill was in 1996. The Chamber, which was like this like rot Gene Hackman movie. There's The English Patient. I guess, we're still like making obviously pre-existing IP, but that's such a slow story about two people falling in love.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we don't do that anymore.
I guess we do technically make Screams, Twisters, Independence Days, and Space Jams, and Missions Impossible.
We do make those. It's true. Let's see. Multiplicity came out that year.
God, I love that movie.
Swingers, Ransom. Like we were doing it. We were making all kinds of different movies, and the same people were like, okay, I'll give that a shot. Yeah. Like the same people are going to all these movies, which is like also doesn't happen anymore, except you. I'd love to talk more about Happy Gilmore, but unfortunately I won't be seeing it until 2028.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wanted to see if Airbud was a movie that came out in 1996. It unfortunately for our purposes came out in 1997. But I bring it up because there was, I'm on the Airbud beat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good. So when Airbud Returns was announced, that news comes to my desk 10,000 times in one day. And they are making this Airbud Returns movie. And in the press release, they say the movie will engage nostalgic Airbud fans while introducing a new generation to the beloved basketball-playing golden retriever.
They're going to try
builds upon the legacy of the OG Airbud with all the fun, magic, heartwarming scenes and Buddy playing basketball. The plot is about a 12-year-old named Jacob who discovers an original VHS of Airbud.
Holy fucking shit.
In his father's belongings while visiting his childhood home after his death. Jacob then meets a stray golden retriever by the name of Buddy, that he names Buddy. And they embark on a journey of healing, unite a team of misfits, and chase a championship. I don't understand.
You're going to spend half an hour watching a VHS in that movie.
The kid finds a VHS copy of Airbud, the movie, and watches it, and then finds a dog and plays basketball. I don't understand the reality anymore. This is a franchise that I don't know if you kept up with the Airbud films, but by the end of it, it culminates in Air Buddies.
Yeah,
this is where they're all puppies and they have superpowers and they fight crime and they talk to each other.
My son watched some of these when he was young. Yeah,
it is still that is a more exciting and fresh evolution of the Airbud idea than Airbud Returns, where they just simply watch Airbud the movie. and then make Airbud the movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm wondering if, like, because we're coming up on basically the 30-year anniversary of all of these, I wonder if there's internally within studios, there is a tacit agreement that in 30 years you can reboot something from the beginning. So it's a property that you've watched, and like this has got to be the plan all along, right? Was that you do a movie, it's a success, so you do a second one, you do a third, and then at some point you're like, and now what we should do is just start again at the beginning. And 30 years is like the amount of time that you're allowed to do that in. Like, okay, let's just start Airbud over.
It's really, it's so wild. Because until a few months ago, I couldn't tell you when the first Mission Impossible came out. I know I saw it in theaters, but it could have been 98, it could have been 95. Like I just, it's not a thing that I think about. But if you haven't seen the most recent Mission Impossible, they make a huge deal. Like in the movie, the date May 22nd, 1996 is like thematically relevant. It's the date that a certain mission took place, and it's the date that Hannah Waddingham's character and the Angela Bassett, the president, like when they met or did some kind of thing, like the movie truly wants you to think May 22nd, 1996 is meaningful and important. A date that has no meaning other than like it's the real life release date of fucking Mission Impossible. And it's such a strange move. Like they're like, I guess it's not so wild in modern times because like May 4th became Star Wars Day because May the 4th. And then at some point, we just decided that there was like a Marvel Day where all the Marvel news comes out, and it sucks. But there's like the day where they announced the new slate of Marvels. Like we've all got really hyped for press releases in modern times, and I think Mission Impossible is just really trying to also force their own. May 22nd is Mission Impossible Day, and it's going to be Mission Impossible Day forever. And I don't. And again, it's not like May the 4th. It's not like something that you could tangentially tie to something. It's why is May 22nd, 1996 important to Ethan Hunt just because that's the date the movie Mission Impossible came out?
It is fun to imagine. It's fun to imagine like what they were, because I'm sure that they backed into it. They were like, well, let's come up with a day. It would be really nice for us to have like a day that we own.
Yeah.
Same way we did at Cracked. We were like, we should have like there should be like something that we're known for. The same way the Simpsons are known for Halloween. Like, let's come up with a day. Let's come up with a holiday that we can hijack. I'm sure that Mission Impossible was like, let's figure out Mission Impossible Day. What's a day that's not occupied? And everyone's like, oh no, every day's occupied. And then you have to sit in that room with a calendar as people are like, okay, April 15th. You're like, no, it's National Donut Day. And you're like, okay, we're not doing that one.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, finally they land on May 11th and they're like, I'm in May 22nd. They're like, May 22nd. And everyone's like, you know what? That's actually really good. There's nothing going on that day.
Man,
I think we have one.
I've got terrible news for you. If April 15th, your main preoccupation is Donut Day, it's a bigger
tax day.
Yeah, Donnie. You gotta make sure you get that done first.
But I love that they're like, okay, well then it's May 22nd. So let's figure out how to let's do the pun. Let's figure out how it fits with the movie. May 22nd. The MII?
Right.
No.
It would have been, I'm sure they're really mad now that they didn't release it on May 1st because M1 is so much more helpful than M22.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they're trying to get to 22.
Yeah. Well, Tom Cruise can do it.
If anybody can, it's our old pal Tom. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm a little sad with this conversation because I'm looking at these movies and thinking, not all hits, but everybody was trying.
Not all hits,
so hard.
All swings though. That's what's huge.
Yeah, everybody's working their hardest and they're making stuff. And think of all the people that worked on that movie. Think of all the people that worked on Ed.
Think of all the jobs.
all the jobs of from the multiple script drafts that I went through to like the crew of Ed, and everybody along the way probably was like, we're making some dog shit. This is great. We're making dog shit, but we're working. And how nice that must have been.
Just the quiet assurance that everyone working on those movies was like, well, it'll be in a theater, and that's always been a lifelong dream. That it'll be nice to see my name in credits in a theater. Like, it's gonna get a release. They're not gonna just shell this movie for tax purposes. That'd be crazy. There's people in it.
It's sad. Well, this has been a fun podcast. I think that's gonna do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Mirex, obviously. YouTube, obviously. Patreon. All the hits. Goodbye.
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all the guys know? Oh, forget it. Sorry, movie, Daniel O'Brien. Two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.